Your move, your move.
What's up guys, it's Roguetier here and welcome to yet another amazing video on the channel. Today we have Cassus, also known as the Undead Royal Academy on YouTube. Please do check him out, the link will be in the description. He's wearing the coolest hat I think I have ever seen. And he's going to be giving us a event-winning, actually, deck profile today. So it's a deck he's been cooking for a long time. And I'm very happy I get to show you guys on the channel today. So please do take it away.
So hopefully these builds inspires more TrapTrix players, because I feel the deck is quite nice. And it's in okay position in this format to counter the meta. So let's start it. I'm playing 3 Boudica. I feel like that's mandatory, you want 3. Same another mandatory 3 of is Mantis. Mantis is searches for a combo basically. If you open Holitea, you search a trap, and then that trap you get it back later with the Deonera. Or if you need Holitea or you already have a trap, you search Holitea. Another card is Mantis. She searches for a monster, so it's not as good as Mermela that searches for a trap. But she's like Boudica and Mantis, like really good normal summons. Like Boudica and Mermela, like they're extremely good because you can search for Arachnocamper to protect against destruction. You protect your back row against destruction. And then just 2 Deonera. The only reason I'm playing 2 is because the normal you don't want to normal it, but in the grind, for the grind game you should play 2, because by the time you're gonna get to our second Holitea set from grave by special summoning her, you're basically about to win the game. So you need 2 for the grind, because 1 is just not enough. It's not gonna get you to finish up your grind. And 1 Vesukila, I never know how to pronounce that. It's mainly acting as an extender and as an extra Deonera, because it also has the effect to set 1 from the grave by banishing herself. So that's quite niche. And then the 1 Arachnocamper, you don't want to run more. I know it's basically a free special for men, but it locks you from special summoning only insects and plants from your extra, so that's not that good. So you only want to mainly search it. You don't really want to open it most of the time, unless you also open a normal. This would be like an absolutely bad normal summon. It's mainly there to special for to protect from back row. And that's all the monsters you should play. They're all 1 card combos. And then following up with 3 Ash, you could play Neeb or Draw, but I feel like Ash is the best hand trap to play. I'm only playing monster, I'm also playing Eeper, but as for monsters, as hand traps, I'm only playing Ashes because they are the most generic. Especially they really hurt Brandon and Chimera. And again, for board breaking and going first, 2 Fenrirs. Fenrir is just a good card. I was running 3. But I swapped them out for the 1 Pank, because I did open from my hands in other events, and I only opened like 1 Fenrir, so it wasn't that bad opening 2. I only opened 2 once, and it was okay because I still had the normal. But I feel like Pank is quite underrated. Against going second helps to break boards, he outs floodgates and such, and contests like Fenrir, but you know it's extra because you can go Pank, pop something, and then Fenrir after it if you draw 2. And then 3 Prosperities for the spells. I feel like this is quite mandatory. Without Prosperity, you're gonna break so much more often, and the good thing about this deck is there are 1 to 2 card combos, or more, I say 1.5 card combos, and Prosperity helps boost the consistency so much, it's crazy. Especially that sometimes when going second, I would pros to get into a Fenrir to break a board, or going first, I would pros to get into my Anta spell after all my searching and such. And then the 1 Garden, I just 1. Gardener is really bad to open, so I'm only running 1. I mean, sure, in some cases you might find yourself wanting to have a garden since you have so many normals in your hand, but you shouldn't be playing more than one. It's fine if your opponent outs it, that's fine, it's like whatever. It's just okay to have, and you do need at least one to trigger Pudica. And then for traps, I'm running 3 Holitea, mandatory 3. Holitea sub too good for this deck, is amazing piece of support. Not only that, so one tip I got for you is that don't worry about Holitea, setting Holitea until, let's say you go first to set up your board. Don't worry about setting a Holitea for follow-up. Only set a Holitea after, you know, from your Sarah during your opponent's turn. You don't worry about it in your opponent's turn. You just set up your trap holes and stuff, because Holitea is just gonna be an extender. But you can also just set it at the end, and in your turn comes, and then you got a Holitea, and then you have a Holitea in grave. If the one from the field gets outed, or the one from the grave gets banished, or who knows what happens, you got a follow up. And speaking more about follow up, 3 Shade Brigadine. Some people run Parallax Seeds, but I feel like that's just too bricky. If you open 2 Paralyses, 2 Paralyses suck. But if you open 2 Shade Brigadines, it's quite good. Because you use 1 Shade Brigadine to go for a combo. Or maybe gets outed when you go second, but you have another one. Wait, never mind that, because never mind that. But something you should mind is that if on your opponent 2, you say you use 1 in your combo, and then your opponent's turn you have the one set to trigger Sarah, and I'm gonna explain to you guys later, because I'm running one spicy trap that wants bodies on the field, hence why it's okay to open 2. And then again, going second and first, Imperm is great. Imperm again is the card that triggers Sarah. It doesn't put a body on the field, but it's a negate. And going second, it just helps you. Make sure your opponent don't like make a crazy board. And then 3 evenly. Most of the time I define myself imperming the Omni negate, or getting rid of my opponent's Omni negate, and then I just evenly. Or against trap decks that don't put the Omni negates up evenly, just completely wipes them out. And then you're free to do your TrapTrix card shenanigans. And I'm now running 2 floodgate trap holes. At the moment, I feel like this is the best trap hole for interruption, because right now we got Purley, we got Vanadium, and other cards that want their, even like Rescue, their Hydrant is not a summon effect, so you can floodgate the Hydrant, and that's pretty good. And yeah, against Synchro, Xyz, and Link decks, they can't use their monsters and materials anymore. So even though cash format it's not there, it's not here anymore, floodgate I feel is still the best one. Other good floodgate traps is the one Nightmare. Not only I like setting this going first, I also like setting it in the grind, because in the grind my opponent is of course gonna want to activate their monsters effects to out my board. So Nightmare helped me deal with those monsters. Even SP, because SP first summons herself back. You can then like just trap whole Nightmare the SP away in the grind. And one other amazing trap hole is Gravediggers. I am running the second Gravediggers and third Floodgate in side deck, by the way. Gravediggers is quite situational. So I'm only running 1. If I'm against a deck that likes to activate their cards in hand, like Makanko or Sword Soul, or Grave like Tears and Vanadium, I do put in my second trap hole. And the one spicy card has to be the full armor Xyz. I feel like not many people have caught on to this package, but it's absolutely busted. Because I mean, not many decks can play it, since you need an Xyz that doesn't have materials to rank up. But guess what? Your deck plays an Xyz that's special. No, Macaras that it can detach up to 2 to special 1 from grave, and that leaves her with no materials to rank up into the full armor Xyz line and search this trap. This trap, again, like I said, with the Sheet Brigandine, helps you get bodies on the field, and those, because those bodies are going to be turned into an extra interruption. Because I feel the problem with TrapTrix was that you do get summons from the deck in your opponent's turn, but once they use their effect like Pudica to banish something till the next standby, or Momelo to pop a spell, they're just sitting there useless. While Full Armor Xyz is gonna make them into an extra interruption like Redoer and such. And then again, you know, the whole shenanigans with attaching 1 for the Full Armor Lancer, and then you basically have OTK on board. I'm gonna explain them now, because now moving on to the extra. 1 Atipus. I'm only running 1. I don't really go into her that often, because with the Lancer he's so big already. I don't really need the Atipus to OTK that much. But I do need 3 Serras. In the grind I'm always going into at least 2 Serras throughout my game, maybe even 3 most of the time. I'm going to 3. And again, this is the hard soul of the deck. I'm also running 1 SP, again, because you got the link 1, right? Imagine. And going second, you use your Sarah's effects, and then use Sarah with an extra card to go into SP, and then SP is gonna have a banish, and then you can use another extra body to go into a second Sarah. Instead of making Xyz, for example, you go SP and then Sarah with 2 materials on board, and yeah, it just helps break boards further and helps in the grind a lot. If you want to play budget, you can play the Earth Charmer instead. You either have to run one of both. There's not really enough room for both, so if you have SP, run SP. If you don't have SP, run the Earth Charmer. Mainly, also people play so many Fenrirs. You are basically guaranteed to Earth Charmer away a Fenrir, and that helps you climb into Atipus. So that has its benefits over SP. And then for Xyz, I'm running 1 Pingula, 1 Lomakeris, and then 1 Rafflesia. I feel like one of each is fine. You don't really need more. I guess some people make the argument of 2 Rafflesias in grind, but I don't really find myself summoning Rafflesia that much, to be honest. I mainly go into Redoer and Dark Lancer, and of course Atipus, and most I go into Pingula more than Rafflesia. If I have a crazy hand going first though, and I do make Rafflesia first before my main combo to protect against Nib. That's mainly it. Dark Lancer for again the full armor Xyz line, and the dark full Xyz, the armor fortress, to search your full armor Xyz trap by overlaying him over Alromakeres, and then use the effect as no materials, and then you overlay Dark Lancer on top of it. Then for another small engine I'm running 1 Prometheus with 1 Constellar Diamond against dark decks like Tier or for example like Heroes. They absolutely cannot play to this card. Also hurts Dragon Link a lot and whatnot. Not only your opponent cannot send cards from deck to grave, so Tier just absolutely can't do anything. You also have the condition where, you know, when they would want to add cards from the grave to the hand, they get banished instead. So they can't even recur cards from the grave, and most importantly, it's like a judgment for dark monsters basically, and that's absolutely busted, especially against Tier. Tier is quite important in this format, so summoning this against Tier just completely skips their turn, and you just win. Also, because imagine you overlay it on top of a Prometheus, you then go battle phase if you're tired of it, and then overlay into Zeus to board break, and then 1 Redoer. You play so many traps, you get the Phoenix Wind Blast effect of Redoer so often is so good. Also for Furamo XCs, you can either go into I find myself going to Redoer or a base dweller most of the time. A base dweller instantly gets another interruption. Going on completely locks the grave away from the opponent basically. So now that grave is back, many decks need their grave. So Abyss Door is a good pick now. Moving on to the side, I got the one Cowboy. With this deck, you are gonna grind a lot. So you are gonna find yourself going to time quite often or close to time, and in some games, one time I found myself like not scooping, even though I would probably lose the game. I just didn't want to scoop, and then in game 3 I just put in Cowboy from the side deck and went first and went for Cowboy for game. Sadly, it wasn't meant to be getting permed after my Murmella was ashed. But that was a good try. And in other games, I didn't used to be running Cowboy, but against decks like Vanadium that play a lot and you grind a lot, you go into time all the time. And one time I just lost because I didn't have Cowboy. I just ran out of time and withdrew. But if I had Cowboy, I would have won that. And then 3 draw. There are decks like Dark World that if they don't get checked, they are completely ruining and everything, just hand looping you non-stop. And not only that, draw is good for other decks. A bunch of decks lose to draw at the moment, so why not run 3? And then for board breaking, when I'm sure I'm going second, 2 Lightning Storms with a 1 Duster. Self-explanatory, helps you break boards. And the 1 Change of Heart. Change of Heart is really good. It doesn't really remove the opponent's monster in a conventional way, because you steal one of them and then you go into SP, and that's quite good. It's free body, and you make sure you out it from the field without being destroyed or sent to the field by opponent's card effect or battle or whatever. Yeah, that outs them. And then when I know I go first, I'm running 3D Barrier. So many decks lose to the barrier, so I'm running 3. And then 2 anti-spells. When I go first, these cards basically go in almost all the time. Especially the anti-spell. Anti-spell goes in like all the time, like absolutely all the time, except against other trap decks. And then the one floodgate as the 3rd floodgate, and the 2nd Gravedigger's trap hole. And yeah. So again, when I go first, I can then arrange my deck so it plays around my opponent's card, like I'll explain later, with Gravediggers and Floodgate. And yeah, that would be it.
It's time! Let's go!